Today is Tuesday, the 25th of November, 2025, and that marks the 34th day since I launched my Ghanaian Dream Challenge to invest 100,000 Ghana cedis into a sector which I ended up with you selecting the poultry industry to invest 100,000 Ghana cedis. And as you have been seeing the updates, the poultry house, the 1,000 capacity poultry house, is almost complete because the roofing has been done, the flooring, the concreting, and the covering have just started. And by God's grace, today everything will be finished. So that is about 98% of the chicken house would have been complete. However, you have heard on my Joy News online that poultry farmers, especially in the Greater Accra region and other regions, are complaining bitterly that there is an egg glut. There are egg surpluses in the country mainly due to the influx of huge Chinese capital into the poultry sector in Ghana, especially in Greater Accra, around the Essechuari and Fete areas that have led to serious glut in the production of eggs. So in the market, there are a lot of eggs in the market that people are not taking, that the prices have fallen down drastically to the extent that the very large size of egg can go for 40 to 45 Ghana cedis, which actually is a killer price for production. And the Greater Accra Regional Poultry Association have reported on this, and the challenge are in two fronts. The first challenge is that the unfair competition being introduced by the Chinese has made it impossible for locals like me and you to compete in the poultry production industry. The second is the dominance in the market. So it simply means that the Chinese have come to take the stranglehold, to take a stronghold in the poultry sector that has pushed out locals like me and you. And this is dangerous in the fact that how can a foreigner, how can foreigners come in to take a commanding lead in food aspects of your industry, of your country? Should they decide today that they are leaving, what happens of the huge gap that is going to be left? Should they decide that they are going to poison you, what are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing, because you have allowed them to come in. And this particular dominance and unfair competition with regards to the huge capital that have brought in has led to most of these poultry farmers losing a lot of money, leading to layoffs of some of their staff. Those who have stayed and are able to be paid, and some of the poultry farmers are threatening seriously of collapse. And some have even started collapsing because the crux of the matter is that in the Ashanti region, in the Greater Accra region, in the Bunu, in the Ahafo areas, in the middle belt of Ghana, where a lot of investment have gone into this poultry, that is where the challenge is very much seriously felt. And as somebody who has just come into the industry, I haven't even yet received my 1,000 chicken. I paid 19,600 Ghana cedis to Kaipers to receive them. I don't yet know the specific date. And this particular glut is happening. What am I going to do? Have I lost my 100,000 Ghana cedis even without starting yet? Or there is hope? But having said all of this, let's delve into the analysis to see, are the Chinese really, are they really breaking any laws that says that they shouldn't come into Ghana to do poultry production? Now, some lawyers, some experts say that there are no specific laws that bans Chinese and other foreigners from coming to engage into poultry production in Ghana. However, the GIPC, that is the Ghana Investment Promotion Center's laws, there are certain regulations that prevents the engagement of Chinese and other foreigners from engaging in such. One of that is there are certain areas, there are certain sectors of the economy that are preserved for locals. And we poultry farmers are saying that the poultry industry is one of those areas that any foreigner cannot just get up and come into the sector to begin to put in money in order to recoup profits, because it is a food sector which any reasonable country, which any serious country like Ghana cannot allow anybody to just come in. It's a kind of national security area where anybody at all cannot just get up and come into that sector. And we poultry farmers are calling on government that the poultry sector is one of those areas that are reserved for locals and indigenous people like me. Another aspect of the GIPC law is that for a foreigner, a wholly owned foreign company that is coming into, or a wholly owned foreigner coming into Ghana to invest into the Ghanaian economy, should bring along 500,000 US dollars to invest into the Ghanaian industry. Even if the poultry sector foreigners were allowed into it, there should be 500,000 Ghana cedis minimum investment to start with. But these foreigners engaged in this poultry production, are they all having a minimum of 500,000 US dollars? So those of them who are even partnering with locals in Ghana, are the locals having up to 10% stake in the particular poultry farms they have opened, and the foreigners having about 200,000 US dollars in that particular sector they have invested in? Or should they choose that they're establishing a very large company? Are they having 1 million US dollars in investment, where the 1 million is bringing in not less than 20 skilled Ghanaians into that particular sector, which is the poultry industry that we're now talking about? So these questions under the GIPC law, Act 865 2013, is what poultry farmers are asking government to look into very seriously, to see that these regulations, the Chinese companies that are coming into Ghana to establish these poultry farms, they are dislodging locals like me who have struggled. Me, as you are aware, I sold my car, I sold my land to gather 100,000 Ghana cedis to come into this particular sector, which I'm yet to even pick an egg. So if government is intentional by allowing Chinese to come into this, or even some government officials are intentionally bringing in these particular foreigners to come and engage into this sector, they should know that some people, locals like us, contributed to, at least by something small, by whatever we are doing back here in Ghana, contributed something small into ensuring that they come into power. And by bringing in these foreigners, that is dislodging us from the particular things we're doing to get in those small money to contribute. By so doing, they are pushing us out of business. And I'm not too sure it is in the government's interest to bring in foreigners directly or indirectly to come and push out the locals of their livelihoods. Nobody says that there should be higher cost of eggs. However, there should be an optimum amount of money that an egg or any product at all should be sold, so that the producer earns something, the person buying it is also able to buy, and the economy continues to grow and everybody enjoys. Just like maize farmers, paddy rice farmers are all complaining, there should be an optimum. Even when the dollar was falling and the city was rising very, very fast, the president himself, John Dramani Mahama himself, said that there should be a level at which the city can be, so that there will be a comfort, there will be a balance for everybody to be able to do their businesses. And he mentioned around 12 Ghana cedis to a dollar. And so, if huge amounts of capital have been allowed to come in to go into the poultry sector, where huge numbers of eggs are being produced daily by foreigners who are not Ghanaians. And remember, the another aspect which is not being mentioned is that when they produce these eggs inside, they are carrying all their money away. Whereas you and I produce in Ghana here, whatever monies we are going to get is going to remain in Ghana here. For this reason, the Association of Poultry Farmers in the Greater Accra region are calling on government very seriously. And some of us who are in northern region, northern Ghana, who are not affected by the glut yet, are joining hands with those of them who are there and in other parts of the country to call on government to act very seriously on this matter. In fact, we have sat down aloof, and they have already infiltrated into many sectors in Ghana. And this is one of the sectors they have come in. After this sector, do you know the sector they are coming in? Probably they are coming for the seat of the president. And if you don't do anything about this, when they are coming for your seats, nobody will come out to fight for you.